What up, y'all? This is Nate Hill, baby. Yeah, with another video. So, what's going on with this one is we're going to be identifying thoughts and conceptualization. The first video pretty much was how to generate ideas. And you gotta generate it. How much inspiration, how much creativity, how much imagination, how much motivation, dedication, all the good stuff. How much can we generate? And out of that generation, you want to identify these thoughts. It's almost like, you think of it, you got to catch it. You got to catch these thoughts. Whoa, you got to catch these thoughts. And that's the best thing to do, because with all that generation, it's best to identify what you're generating, so that way you know the direction is. But first, there's a little bit of preparation before all this, because this is all about mental health too. So this is identifying thoughts is also good for your mental health. Kind of gets you out of your head, get you out of your own perception, and kind of gets you out of your own way. So when identifying thoughts, it's best to be passive, receptive, and listen with your body. Now, you don't listen with your head, because your head's generating a bunch of ideas, it's generating a bunch of thoughts. So this is something that is going to help you just honestly, be in your heart, think, be in your heart, listen to your heartbeat, wiggle your toes, rub your thighs, kind of, move your body and stuff, but be stationary. And then once you kind of feel your body and you're moving your body, just relax and just be passive. After that, first identify how you feel. Is it good? Is it tense? Are you, do you have good posture? What is it? How do you feel? Next, what do you see? What do you hear? And what do you smell? So what do you see? What do you hear? Breathe. Because the smelling part too also is is you're not trying to smell what's in the room. You're trying to identify your thought. How are you breathing? And then after this, you got to watch and identify how your body reacts upon what you feel, hear, see, and smell. So while you're seeing, while you're hearing, while you're feeling, while you're smelling, what are you identifying? Now, are you seeing the sky? Are you hearing the cars go by? Are you hearing the birds? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling content? Are you feeling warm? And then are you smelling food? Are you smelling the sewer? And when you, so it's really best to give them a gap. So when you hear a bird, what kind of bird is it? How loud is the bird? Is the bird loud? Is it quiet? Is it fast? Is it slow? All that kind of stuff. And then pay attention as you're identifying that in its sequence. Pay attention to what you remember. Was it a yellow bird? Was it a loud chirp? Was the bird flapping its wings and flying by? Because all this conjuration will help you become more aware, and also help you identify the thoughts based through this perception. So this is a great thing to do before idea generation and after too, because you're really getting inside you, and you're doing the internal alchemy, the spiritual alchemy, and really working on you to separate yourself from your ideas. Because most people are walking around with these ideas. They're walking around and they're living and they're eating and they're breathing these ideas and this perception, and it gets all entangled in their stuff. But when you can separate yourself from your perception and from your thoughts, that is the best way and the greatest way to lead up to like a great level of understanding of yourself and a great level of understanding of your ideas and your thoughts and your perception. So when you're creating this understanding, you know the direction in which you are heading, your North Star. Okay, because for all you know, you could be pointed west and think you're going north, and you just need to turn, a certain way. You need to turn right. So yeah, it's best to understand like that. That's like part of mapping it out and also identifying. Now, once you have generated the ideas, and once you've identified the thoughts and you've separated yourself from your perception and from your ideas, and you've identified how you're feeling and your well-being, now you move on to the conceptualization. You start conceptualizing all this stuff, because this is where you start to conceive of everything that you've conjured up in all this contemplation. So first we'll just when it comes to conceptualization, you want to know the definition of a concept. So a concept is an abstract idea, general notion, mental picture, or group or class of objects formed by combining all their aspects. So that's a perfect that's the definition. So it's something that is abstract or general notion or picture, mental picture. And so when you're generating all these ideas and having these notions and having these imaginary phantasms or pictures, this helps you categorize and classify, all that stuff, because you've separated it, you've put it into the air, you've spoken it out, you've written it down, you've taken pictures of it, you've identified it, you've generated it, you've been motivated by it, and you've done all this work. Now it's time to actually put it in its place and conceive of it, put it in the womb, or grow it even more. And then also, the action or process of forming parts of the world, objects, and entities to generalize a particular purpose in the relationships between them. So when you're conceptualizing and you're processing, like this goes here, this goes there, that goes there, you're kind of separating it, categorizing it, and it's helping you identify, that this is a world. This has the trees, the grass, the animals, the mountains, that's that world. Or this is a car. This is the engine, the brake lights, the axles, the wheels, the tires, the windshield, the body kit. That's an object. Because when you're putting all that stuff together, all those components is the conceptualization of that world or of that object. And you're honestly generalizing it. You're not describing it in its entirety. You can go pretty much in depth as far as you can, as far as you want to, but mainly when you're conceptualizing, you want to generalize and try to understand the purpose and the relationship between the components of what you identify. That's the whole thing to conceptualization. So upon idea generation, identifying thoughts, you create a concept, and after you have several concepts, you've created that conceptualization, and that's conceptualization at its finest. Is the idea generation, generating it, identifying what that generation is, and then you create a concept, put it in its place, categorize it, classify it, and then you have conceptualized something, and it becomes something more than what it was from the start. So you begin to understand how freed up your mind gets once you understand this process, and that's the ultimate thing. That's what I want ultimately for everybody, and it's because this is mentally healthy, man. This is untangling it. This is morphing it. This is understanding it. This is creating it. This is doing all good things for your mind and for the idea itself, and the relationship between the two. And then you almost, if you understand this, anything is possible mentally. You have this anything is possible mentality when you can generate ideas, identify those thoughts, and then create a concept. All this stuff is like that anything is possible because there is no hindrances, there is no restrictions. It's honestly in a controlled setting, based off this process 1, 2, 3, and you just start to feel like anything is possible. And the next thing is to apply it. Next thing is to plan it out and apply it. And this is ultimately what I want for people, is to understand these 3 things: idea generation, identifying the thoughts, and then conceptualizing it, creating a concept, and then actually applying it, putting it into action, planning it, putting it into action. It feels good to do all this stuff, because a lot of people think it's hard, but there's a process. There's a process to all this stuff, and there's a timing to it as well, because a baby isn't born in 3 seconds or 2 minutes. It's like 9 months. It goes through all the processes to become a baby. So yeah, thank you so much. This is identifying thoughts and conceptualization. The next part in the global Consilience, or the Consilience, the Consilience introduction series. My name is Nate Hill. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps a lot. Once again, this is free. I'm just giving this for free. I hope everybody catches on to this, because this is mentally freeing, mentally liberating. Global Consilience, signing off. Peace.